Hello, hello, hello. Good morning there, my friends. Now, today's topic might have you thinking, because sometimes we want to upgrade our sound system, or maybe we need to we want to upgrade and we want to put a new floor in, or we are thinking about, oh my gosh, I am doing all the things and I need to hire some new staff. And or I'd like to invest in getting support in a coaching program, or I want to go on this Ireland retreat. There's lots of different things that you could want to do. But then when we start to think about these big purchases, it can be a little bit overwhelming. And so many times we may just automatically default to, I can't afford that. Or can I afford that? Without actually doing some math to see if we can. And so, in this week's episode, I am going to break down for you how to know if you can really afford something based upon facts instead of just feelings. Um, and we're going to talk about the different types of investments and how we need to look at those when it comes to making the decision of can I afford it, right? So if you're joining me, say, hey, Erin, what's up? Let me know that you're here. I always want to know who is with me when I'm doing these lives. Hello there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. So we are coming in and we are talking about can I afford it? So many times so many times, and I've been guilty too of this where you you look at something or you want to do something and then you get the price of it and you kind of go into sticker shock and you're like, ooh, I can't afford that, right? And so what I first like to do today is really talk about right now. If you're joining me, say hello. Hello, good morning, Brooke. It's so good to see you. Um, I want to know, like, in the back of your mind, what have you been thinking that you would love to invest in, whether it's for your business or for yourself? That's fine too. But what have you been thinking about that you would love to invest in, but not sure if you can afford it? Now, if you're new here and you're joining us, I'm Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really grow their businesses without the overwhelm, the burnout, or they're sacrificing their personal lives. Because the truth is, you really don't have to. You can have your own unique vision of success. It's not about comparing yourself to anybody else. This is about you and your journey. You can have passion, you can have profit, and you could really create the life of your dreams. And so, oh my gosh. Okay, so we got a larger facility, and then I'm doing it, opening a second location, signing a lease today. We have to celebrate that. OMG. Second location, so good. Absolutely something to celebrate. So good. Now, my friends, drop those in the comments for us. What would you love to do? But you're like, ooh, I don't know, right? So let me know. And if you're coming back in on the replay, I want to know that as well. We continue this. This is a conversation. So coming in on the replay is okay. I totally understand it. And we can continue the conversation. So if you're coming in a little bit later, just drop the hashtag replay. And then, so that way we know together. You guys, point your feet just one more time. Oh, so good. Okay. Who else got my stickers at Dance Teacher Web? Oh. All right. So, my friends, we tell ourselves stories that are rooted in feelings, that are rooted sometimes in fear. And so today we're gonna dive into this a little bit because hello. So if you're joining us, say hello. Let me know that you're here. The other thing that I have to tell you is that when I do these, this is like a learn out loud situation, because not only is there value in seeing and hearing what resonates with other people, but when we have those moments of like, aha, all the different feelings. When we can take and learn out loud and speak it out and type it in, it will anchor in those ideas for you and for others who are coming back in on the replay. So I want to make sure that we are making this an active conversation for everybody. So if you're joining me, say what's up. Let's really get this party started to know, can I afford it? Can I afford insert the blank? Can I afford a larger facility? Can I afford to hire an assistant? Can I afford to go to the Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat in Ireland? Can I afford can I afford a new stereo system? Can I afford to save for retirement? All of these things are super important. And so we're going to dive into this topic today. Now, the first thing that I want to say to you is when you're thinking about, can I afford insert the blank, is what type of investment it is. Getting clarity around what type of investment it is will help you in the equation know, can I afford it? Okay. So when I have someone tell me, Erin, I would like to invest in new mirrors or a new sound system, maybe, or a new floor. Those are fantastic investments that we should be making in our business. But the thing that you have to remember is those investments are, while they're tangible investments, right? You can see yourself in the mirror. You can feel the floor underneath your feet. You can hear the audio system. They are not directly going to impact an increase in revenue, right? You are not going to say, because I bought a new floor, I'm automatically going to see my enrollment go up by 100 students. Okay. So because of that, yes, we invest in our facility. Yes, your bottom line. Okay. So if you are investing in a larger facility, now a larger facility, we could talk about a little bit because there is actually can be a direct correlation to revenue, profit, loss, right? There is a direct correlation to that. But when you're just investing in facility upgrades, let's say, there is not generally a direct correlation. Okay. So this is where things you have to think about these in kind of two little buckets, right? If this is something that you are going to invest in, that is obviously for the health and well-being of your students and for just day-to-day operations, right? Those are things that we have to do. We should set money aside for them, and we should purchase them when we have enough money. Bottom line. Okay. So how do you do that? So one of the things that I always suggest, any client who comes into my camp, the first thing that I suggest is for everyone to read the book Profit First. And I do say read it because now I know a lot of people are like audio books, right? But I think for this one, because there's some equations in there and there's some things that that are going to help you formulas, that is why I am actually a fan of tangible hardcover, paperback, whatever, of this book. Now, I'm going to put it here in the chat for you guys. Let me know. Have you read Profit First? I want to know. Because what I will tell you is it could absolutely transform the way that you do business or the way that you view your money. And so I am a huge fan of Profit First because what it does is it allows you to set up separate bank accounts, separate funds for specific items. So if you know that you want to make a facility improvement like floors, mirrors, whatnot, you set up a separate account for that. And as soon as your revenue comes in, you allocate. Okay, love it. Haven't read it, but familiar with the principles. And I'm going to come back to that real quick because I think that's a great point. Is that you have money and you automatically, before some other things, you automatically move funds into that account earmarked for new floors. Okay. And when you get to that amount, then you do the thing. All right. So, what I will say about Profit First, the principles are fantastic. The amount of accounts that he suggests, I don't know that everybody necessarily needs. But if you follow the principles of it, you will set yourself up for success. Okay. So we do Profit First here in our businesses. Do I follow it to T? Absolutely not. I do not actually. But we follow the principles and and that sets you up for success. So very good point. But I suggest it's an easy read. Honestly, I feel like I read it on a trip on a plane, like maybe it was both, round trip, but that was it. Like it's super easy. It's not that hard of a read, but I think it can be a game changer for so many people. So Profit First. So that's like big nugget number one is Profit First, right? Actually, clarity around, I should add that in there. Clarity around what type of investment. So let's do that. Number one, what type? And I can't type. Okay. So what type of an investment is it? That is the big thing. So get clarity, right? Clarity around what type of investment. Are you going to see a direct correlation to your bottom line? Or is this more of a tangible in that it's brick mortar, that sort of thing. Okay. The other type of investment when you're thinking about it is one of those investments that are going to actually create you a return on investment. And what is that, the rate of return? Because that actually figures in to, can I afford it? Let me give you a prime example. If you have something that you want to purchase and you're like, okay, I want to buy into a preschool curriculum. Let's use that one, right? My goal is with that preschool curriculum to be able to roll out and implement a curriculum because I don't feel like that's my strong suit and we're losing students because our programming isn't up to par. And so I want to invest in a preschool curriculum. Fantastic. But I don't know if I can afford it. Money's been tight. Here's my 2 cents. When you go to invest in any sort of programming, whether that's curriculum, coaching, that sort of thing, we have to look at the rate of your return on your investment. So if you, going back to the example, if you say, Erin, right, I want to invest in a curriculum that is going to help me retain students and it's going to help me grow my program because I feel like we will have a better conversion on our trials because we haven't been doing so great in that area. I'm going to say, okay, let's take a look. How long is it going to take to not only recoup your investment, but for you then to profit from that investment? Okay. Now there's going to be lots of factors. There's going to be math involved, but what is the rate of return on your investment based upon the type of investment? You guys following me? Okay. I have 2. I take out a percentage every month off the top to go into it. That was my first step. And that is a huge win. That in itself should be absolutely celebrated. Because as we are rolling out and doing profit first, or we're doing this type of system, it could feel scary because it's not something that we're used to. We've always been trained, we've told ourselves, society has told us, maybe our parents have told us, right? That, um, a lot of times if you're feel like things are tight and you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you're not giving yourself a proper salary or a proper wage, or you're right, you feel like some months are okay, but then the summer you're just getting by. We have a lot of those feelings based upon what we've been told, or maybe what we trauma that we experienced, let's just say, and we carry those with us. And instead of switching things over, we always just feel like we're in this hamster wheel, right? Running over and over and over again, and we can't make any changes to what it is. So it can be scary. So by just that baby step of taking out that percentage every month off the top to go into that account, that should be celebrated. Ah, that's so, so good. That is the first step. And I'm going to say something that might be a little whatever. We are adaptable. We learn how to we get by with what we have. I'll be the first to say, you could get by with what you have. But then, I'm going to say this with all the love that I can. Love that I can. When your revenue increases, when your profit increases, or when your salary increases, the majority of us by nature will spend more. By nature, right? You will spend more the more money you have for various reasons. So, but when you take that money right off the top and set it aside, and you don't necessarily see it there every day, you've protected it, right? You've protected it for the thing that you really, really want. And you do more with what you have, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me know in the comments. Are you following along? Have I gotten way off here? I always want to know like how you guys are feeling about this when we're talking about this, because I know this topic, money, math is not necessarily everybody's favorite topic. So let me know in the comments below, how are we doing here when it comes to that? So what type of investment is it? What type of investment? Okay. Then, like we said, how long for an ROI? How long for your return on investment? I'm going to give you a little like secret tip here. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this. Okay. So here's the thing, Brooke. I know it can be overwhelming. And I know you have a brand new studio opening in September, which is so exciting. It seriously fills my heart up, because that means you are going to make such a huge impact in your community. But it can feel like there's so many things to think about. And feeling like you have to always make the right decisions from the get-go, and that can be overwhelming. And while my job here is to make sure that you try to make the best decisions, right, moving forward, and really implement from the get-go, what I will tell you is that progress, not perfection. And there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and that's okay. That's part of the beauty and the journey. I know it doesn't feel like it right when you're in it, but I promise you that you are going to be a rock star in September when you open up this studio. I know it. Okay. So, how long for a return on investment? So, here's what I want to tell you guys. Aside from real estate, so if it's the larger, I want to buy my own building. If I want, right. So we're going to set real estate aside, buying a building, buying a facility. Sorry, I'm so stuffed up still. Aside from that, because real estate, obviously, it's going to take a while to see that paid off. It's going to, there's more math involved, more things involved. But aside from that, if you invest in something, if you invest in a curriculum, if you invest in a coaching program, or if you invest in going to a retreat, if you invest in support, an admin person, a sales person, whatever. If you invest in something that should deem you a ROI, you should be able to see a return on your investment minimal within a year. If it takes longer for you to not only recoup your investment, but then to start turning a profit, I would really look at why. How long should it take you to recoup your initial investment and then start to turn a profit from it? If you buy a curriculum, or, I've been using some of these as examples because it's things that I get questions about a lot. And if you do the math, which I could touch on if you guys want me to momentarily, but if you do the math and you're like, well, they say it takes about 2 years to see the results and to see the profit because it takes time to implement. Things take time to implement. Do not get me wrong. None of this stuff is like a magic pill where you're going to see it happen the next day. Like that, there's work involved. But if they tell you it's going to, to get all your teachers on board and to train them and to work out the kink, right? 2 years, that's a red flag to me. 3 years, that's a red flag to me. You should be able to invest your money in a curriculum, coaching program, retreat, whatever it is, that is there to support you and inside your staff. My friends, if you are a solopreneur and you're doing this all on your own, your first investment should be in support that then either A, helps you create and generate more revenue, or B, takes stuff off your plate so then you can create more revenue. That's it. That's it. And even as you grow, you should be looking at, okay, I'm going to answer that right now. But as you are, no matter what level you're at, right? Those investments should help get you to your big goals, to your big vision. So, every level requires you to do new things. So no matter if you're just starting out or you're a seasoned studio owner and you've been in business for 30 years, we always have to go back to the big why, the big vision, and what is it that we actually really want. Because I'm going to touch on a third type of investment, which we're going to talk about. Okay, got the question. I want to turn a profit on my new studio within a year. Is that unrealistic? So, here's my 2 cents. Can you turn a profit in the first year? Hell yes, you can. That being said, without me knowing your particular financial situation and the numbers involved and what you're pricing your services at, your tuition scale, like there's some factors in there, because here's the thing. You could come in and have 500 new students in the first year, which I know when I say that, people look at me like I am maybe lost my marbles, but let me tell you, we've done it. So could you do that and have 500 students and it's amazing in the first year? You can. Anything is possible. But here's the thing. You can have 500 students and not have a tuition structure in place that supports the revenue that you need to generate to pay everybody, to pay all your bills, to pay yourself and still generate a profit. So, to answer your question, yes, you could absolutely turn a profit in the first year. You could turn a profit in the first 3 months. Again, been there, done that, taught people how to do it, seeing it happen over and over and over again. But it all comes down to the foundational pieces and pricing yourself for success, not based upon what everybody and your brother around you is doing, not based upon, well, I don't want to, be the highest and all these feelings. It's based upon math. It's based upon systems, okay? So, not unrealistic at all. Not unrealistic. And when you say turn a profit, what percentage of profit would you love to turn? Right? Get specific. And I've talked about it before, but hey, since we're talking on the topic of profit, let me know in the comments below, what percentage of profit would you love to see in your business? What would you love? What would you love? Let me know. For everybody, for everyone, right? Because again, this goes back to, can I afford it? It all ties back to, can I afford it? Because when you know what your profit margins are, it allows you clarity to know how you can invest. When you can look at your projections and know what money is coming in, right? Then you can also say, okay, I can invest in something now because I know that in 6 months from now, not only is this am I going to see the rate of my return, but I'm also going to see my growth in this place. So what percentage of profit would you love to see? Okay. I'm like, nobody is doing that. Yes, knowing what your profit is and set your goals from there. So if you don't know what percentage of profit, like where you're running right now, that is absolutely first step is, where are you at and where would you like to go? That's number one. And if you're a new studio owner and you have studio just opening up soon, where would you like to be? And I'm saying this for a moment because a lot of people come to me and they're like, well, is it unrealistic for me to want to have a 20% profit margin? I'm like, oh, girl, let's start up a little bit higher from the beginning, right? Let's start from where we want to be from the get-go. Do the math and bake it in. And it's not about your competitors. Be a unicorn. Be a unicorn. unicorn in a field of donkeys. Okay, so let me know. We like to learn out loud here. What percentage of profit would you love to be at? And if you don't know, drop that here. This is a safe space that we're here to support you and share. Okay, so goal to have enough to get into our own facility next year. Okay, so Brooke, we can chat more about that, but what does that mean exactly, right? So this is the next piece. Okay. So when you have a goal like that, when you have a goal of, you're teaching in the Civic Center, which is fantastic. Yes, 30% after your salary. 30% is just your profit margin. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, when I have clients who come to me who want to do a mobile program or that sort of thing to help them bridge the gap, to start themselves out in business without all the expense, without all the overhead, so they're not starting out in debt, which is a fantastic way to start, my friends. When I have clients who come to me doing that, which is similar, Brooke, to what you're doing by teaching inside the Civic Center, is that number 1, your profit margin is going to be so much high, can be so much higher in a mobile program versus a brick and mortar just because of the overhead expenses, right? So there's that, which will allow you to get yourself to where you want to be quicker. Great way to start out. Suggest it all the time. One of the beautiful things that I could tell you, even from my own journey, is that the mobile program in itself, which I wasn't going to talk about this today, but since it's come up, let's talk about it. I am doing a 4-week series with in partnership with Regold about taking your classes on the road, the mobile foundations, what you need to do to start, grow, scale, all of that. We're going to really dive into that over the next 4 weeks in August. And so if you want more information about mobile programs and that coming up, it starts next Thursday. I'm like, let me look at my big calendar. That tells me my life, right? It starts next Thursday, and every Thursday we are going to have a session, and I'm going to break down a different piece of having a mobile program. So, Brooke, you might want to go to that. Yes. Love it. Okay. So excited about that. So if you want more information about the mobile program that we're doing, that 4-week series, just drop the word mobile below. That way me and my team know what you need support with, and we can give you the link and all the information on that. So drop the word mobile below if you're interested in that. But really great thing to do to help you build without having a lot of debt, right? So, okay. So we've talked about what type of investment. We've talked about how long for the return on investment. Now I'm going to talk about this little third piece, because this third piece is something that I think is really important. And we have to look at a little bit about what's possible. What's possible and the math behind it. Okay. So I am going to, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to use the idea of coaching with me. Let's just use that. And you like the idea of being in our Empire Roundtable, which is a hybrid program. You get small group coaching. I'm talking, 12 people, but you also get privates with me one-on-one, so we can really laser focus on your specific studio, your specific goals, your specific problems and solutions that you need that are very specific for you. So I have a lot of clients who really love that idea, but here's what happens. They get scared because they're like, oh, I don't know that I can afford that. And here's where, when you're investing in something that you've never done before, it's support in some sort of way, you don't know if you are going to recoup your investment, right? And how long it's going to take. I'm going to tell you this. If you look at support, right? We said like you better see a ROI in a year or under, right? You better see you better see a return on your investment in less than a year. Now, here's what I want to tell you guys. Start to do the math and look at it in the way of students. So, if you're like, Erin, I would love to do your Empire Roundtable. It's $1,000 a month, which feels like a really huge stretch for me. I want you to do a little bit of math. I want you to do math. So write down the comments below. Let's just do a little thing together. In the comments below, can you type out what your tuition is for one class a week, basically one class a month. So if I were to come in and I were to take a adult ballet class, let's just say, what would my tuition be? I want to come in once a week. I want to take that adult ballet class. What would my tuition be in your studio? Let me know. Let me know so we could do a little math. Okay. $70, $52. Okay, so I'm just gonna do let's see, 65. Okay, so all right, so here's the deal. I used 65 because it was kind of in between where everybody was at. We had some that were 70, some that were 52. Like, we have people in different places. So at $65 a month per student, so for me to come in, if you had 16 new students at the bare minimum, you would be able to pay for that support. What I can tell you is this. I am pretty confident, not pretty confident, I am confident in what we do in our systems, in our process. If you trust the system, if you follow the process, if you do the work, I can tell you, yes, I know without a shadow of a doubt that we can get you 16 new students very quickly. Very quickly. And then some. And I know I have people who are watching right now who are clients and could attest to that fact, right? But we're going to look at what's your problem. We're going to go to the solution and we're going to figure it out, right? So when we look at it as like students, and honestly, most students, I'm not going to say most. Let me rephrase that. You will have lots of students who take more than one class, okay? So I want you to think of it also in those regards, right? So don't think about it in the terms of, okay, I'm going to need 50 new students to pay for that because, I need it up front or whatnot. Like, we have to think about looking at the math and what does it look like in the long term, okay? So again, whether it's coaching, whether it's mirrors, whether it's whatever it is, also think about in terms of students, right? Or, hey, I could host this one event and make enough money to pay for that. Or, hey, I could add a mobile program and have one center that I go to in the morning and pay for that. Oh my gosh, I could do this thing with, I could be the DJ and the party planner for our school district and have more than enough money from that contract to put in new floors. Yes, there's expenses involved. Absolutely. but my point is, like, sometimes we don't actually put the two and two together. Like, oh, that would equate to X amount of students, right? It also goes back to what's your profit margin? What are your expenses? Do you know what your cost per occupied classroom is? CPOC. That's what we call it. Cost per occupied classroom. Do you know what that cost is? Okay. So, yes. Totally understand. New location. Gotcha. Right? But okay, so we've actually gone a little bit long today, but I think this was a really great conversation. So start looking at things in like, remember, how long is my ROI? How long is my ROI? And that might feel like a difficult question to know the answer to, especially when it's support. If you hire on staff, right? Like, one of the first people that I hired on was a program director, a program manager, because not only were they going to take off tasks off of my list, which freed up more time for me to make more revenue, right? And to live in my zone of genius. But they also make me revenue because they go out and they do sales and recruiting and marketing and right. So it was important for me to add that person because not only were they taking stuff off my plate, which allowed me time, but they also were making us more money. They were bringing in new contracts and new leads and things of that nature. So we have to look at that. And this was the third piece that I wanted to touch on real quick. When I start working with studio owners, one of the big things that comes up is that they may or may not want to make more money, right? They may be like, honestly, my salary is perfect. It's fine. I'm investing in my 401k. I'm doing all of those things. That's all great. What I need I'm typing this as I do it. I need time back. And so, again, there might be an investment that you're making to give yourself more time back. And if that's the case, if you're investing so you're not doing all the things like me investing in getting, a housekeeper, me investing in puppy play group, like all those things, even though like there's not a direct revenue money coming back in necessarily from those things, but let me tell you, it frees up my time to do the things that I love. That last comment, hold on. I'm gonna shut this. Hired a full-time person to allow me to focus on marketing and growing. So good. So good, right? When you get the support that you need, and that can come in many different forms, you could also travel, right? Singing my love language, travel. That's my love language, right? When you invest in support inside your home, inside your business, inside whatever, it allows you time to get to the time freedom. Now, there might be some layers that you got actually a little bit of a curve and you got to get some work done and doing all of that to set you up for success, but then it allows you more time. It allows you more time to travel, which brings me to my last piece for today. My friends, we have a few spots left, a few rooms left for our dance studio business retreat in Ireland in November. November 5th through 9th is the retreat. My goodness, number one, tax write-off for your business. But let me tell you what, It is going to be amazing. Like, I am so excited. We curated this retreat with Genevieve, who is on our team, who is in Ireland. She will be our local host and guide. And we are so excited about the locations that we have picked. And it is going to be the perfect combination of learning, rest, relaxation, exploration, and my gosh, joy and fun, because y'all know me. That's what we lean into. We love. Um, and so there are options for shared rooms. You could share a room with another studio owner, or you could have your own private rooms. We have spots for companions. So if your spouse wants to come, something like that, we have that option as well. If you want more information about our Dance Studio Business Owners Retreat in Ireland, drop the word Ireland below and we will reach out to you and give you more information and decide if, can you afford this? Is this the right fit for you? It is a small group, which means you will get lots of personal one-on-one time with not only myself, but with Jennifer Randall, who is going to help talk about the marketing side and the lead generation and getting a custom plan set for you based upon your unique goals while we're there. So when you go home, you've already worked on your business and it's all set. This is about learning and actually getting shiz done. But having that healthy balance of, I need time to relax too. So it's going to be absolutely magical. So if you want more information, you could drop the word Ireland below and I will get with you. We can chat. We can jump on a call and see if it's a right fit for you. But we have 3 rooms left. And my friends, y'all, it's going to be so, so good. So my friends, let me stop this real quick. Okay. So when it comes to deciding, can I afford it? There are 3 pieces to think about. Number 1, what type of investment is it? Get clarity around that. And because it leads us to knowing if we can invest. Right now, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, it lets us know when we can invest based upon what type of investment it is. Second thing is, how long for your return on investment? It should be a year or less if it's support. In my honest opinion, just saying is all. And then the third thing is this investment a time back investment? And how do we bake that into our pricing, into our tuition structure, into our budget so it makes sense? Because that time back investment is a game changer. And so many times we undervalue it because we think, oh, I could just take care of it. I could do that. Well, you can, but should you? Should you? Believe me, I'm a jack of all trades. It does not mean that I should be building websites. Right? Remember that. Could you do it? Probably. Should you do it? Ask yourself. Okay. And if you feel like you don't necessarily have a handle on the math part when it comes to knowing if you should invest or you can afford something, get support. There are people out there who actually love math and can give you and help you know, like, this makes sense when it comes to math. CPA, accountant, coaches. Me, I like math. I really do, actually. It brings me joy. There are people out there that can support you with that. So if you don't know the math, get help with the math. Because the math and the data, they give you a clear picture. But if we go based upon feelings and our automatic thing is, oh, I can't afford that, but you don't really know and you haven't done the math and you picked your tuition structure out of thin air because so and so around the way, everybody else does that, or that's how it was where I grew up. But like, you don't know what their specific expenses were. You don't know if they own their building outright. You don't know if somebody dumped uh, a trust fund in their lap and they don't have any expenses in their life. Like, you don't know what their financial picture is. So how can you base your tuition structure and your all the things on whatever somebody else is doing? Like, it's kind of craziness. So if you don't feel like you know the math part, let me know. We're here to help with that. We're here to help with that. So, my friends, that age old question, can I afford it? And it really comes down to the math and looking at things from the perspective of what's the trade off? How long is the return on investment? What's that going to be like? Okay. All right. I have gone way longer than our normal lives on Friday, but I have to tell you that this topic bears a lot of information. And I know that we're just kind of like tip of the iceberg here, and there's math that we can do together. But each individual person is going to need, excuse me, for us to look at what's their specific, unique situation to know, is this a good investment and what's the timeline? So, my friends, oh my gosh, I'm feeling like super stuffed up right now. I apologize. So, my friends, I'm going to leave you there. I want you to know, can I afford it? It's one of those age-old questions. So, my hope is, here's my hope, that when you leave here today, you lead into the idea of shifting your mindset a little bit. Instead of the automatic, I can't afford that, switching to the perspective of, how do we afford that? What does that look like? And also, what's the timeline involved? Because it might be true. You might not be able to afford something today, but the plan that you put in place today can certainly allow for you in the first year to be profitable and for you to get XYZ in that 1 year. That's my hope. I hope that you had some nuggets. Let me know if you had a hashtag nugget here. Let me know. And I will see you all next week for another episode of the Erin Bird Live Show. Bye, guys.